he's going to start with the basic geometric shape. All of our characters do. And he starts with the circle. Though as you pick up those pencils, you notice that something's missing on the end of the eraser. That's because what we're doing is called a rough sketch. So you want to keep your lines lying loose. And the stuff that we want to keep, we'll go back and lock those lines in. That way all those other lines are going to fade away into the background. So what a rough sketch is all about is getting your ideas on that sheet of paper. On the separate paper, you want to create a circle, I'd say about the size of a tennis ball. Baseball is a good size. You just want to make sure you save enough room at the top for his hair, or I like to think of it as it's kind of like a crown shape. But I'm going to lightly sketch out mine up here. I promise let you know getting to the darkening in parts, so we really want to keep here for this little guy. But for now, keep your lines really light and loose. So as I'm sketching out lots and lots of lines in here, that's really what we look for foundation. If you don't like one side, you can always round it out until you got it to the way that you like it. All of these extra lines are helping me to create in this one shape. I'm just blending them together so it looks like something that I can work with. Within the circle, though, we'll add in a few construction lines. These lines are going to help us anchor down the features of the face. Lightly adding in one line that goes right through the center of the circle to divide it in half. I'm also stretching it up towards the top as well to help me to create in the top portion of his head. And towards the bottom third here of the circle, lightly sketching out a line from right to left or left to right here. Since we are drawing him as a baby version, we want to give him more of these like rounder out cheeks here. So it kind of looks like a bottom here of a Funko Pop, or you could just think of it as like a rounded out box. But I'm going to hop over towards my circle and my construction line are meeting on either side. I'm going to just draw in this rounded out letter L shape and it's curving it underneath my construction line here on either side. And I'll just connect these two here along the bottom. This is also something that I want to keep. So I'll start to go back now with more of a heavier line and really start to lock this into place here for him as well. Making sure that there's no sharp points or angles here for this little guy. I like to save more of those sharper points and angles, more for our villain-like characters. And this little guy is definitely not a fan. He's part of that like Adventures crew. So just going back and just locking this all into place. But we can also add in his neck too, just so he's not a floating head here on our page. So on either side of my construction line, I'll add in two little diagonal lines here. And I'll connect these two here along the bottom by drawing in a stretched out letter U curve. We can also really lightly sketch out that top portion here of his head too. So I'm going to hop over towards my circle and my construction line are meeting on either side. And I'll add in a couple of diagonal lines. So I'm just stretching these up now, up past the top of the circle. So it kind of looks like you're creating in a couple of antennas here on either side. Now the top portion of his head kind of looks like a roof of a house, but it's just tilted over to one side more than the other. So I'll use my center construction line and I'll lightly sketch out a diagonal line. So I'm stretching this out past my construction line. And I'll lightly connect these two here along the side by drawing in a shorter diagonal line. So this way we've just really got our basic face foundation here for this little guy. Now that we've got a foundation, we can start to add in some details to really make this look more like Baby Groot. Since he is a baby, he's got these like humongous eyes to really make him look super cute here for him. Where they're going to sit is they're going to sit right on top of our construction line here on either side. So like right about here and right about here is where I want to start to add in these eyes. and they kind of look like these big gumdrop shapes. So I'm going to draw in a stretched out letter U. So I'm stretching it almost all the way over towards the side of the circle here on either side there. So right now it looks like he's asleep, which you can definitely keep him that way if you want to. But to give him these big gumdrop shapes, sitting right on top of the letter U shape, I'm going to stretch out a rainbow. So I'm stretching it up towards the top here of the circle. And I'll curve it right back down here along the side to connect the two together. So we've got these big gumdrop shapes here for his eyes. So he also has got a little amber part of his eye too. And that's by drawing in like a C shape here towards the inside here of his eye. So I also want to add in a little highlight to his eye to really up in that cuteness factor. And that's by drawing in a small circle here on the inside here of the eye. And I'll go back and shade all around it to add in a little light source here for his eye. But I also want to make sure that the pupils are really the darkest part here of the sketch. This is where all the focus goes to, is right inside the eyes. So I'm making sure that they're really standing out nice and dark here for him as well. It also really helps for characters that don't even speak or even just say a few words, like Dumbo and Dopey and Tinkerbell and like Grogu and even Stitch as well, to keep with the alien theme. But what does Groot always say? Yeah, I am Groot. And somebody know who the voice of Groot is? Yeah, Vin Diesel. Like usually he's always racing cars in that white t-shirt. But yeah, he is the voice of Groot. And he even said, I am Groot over 1,000 times as well. Not only that, he actually had a whole entire script of what each I am Groot actually means as well. So he's not just saying I am Groot, he has to say it happy or angry or sad as well. He has to create different inflection and emotion with each I am Groot. And not only that, he even said it in 15 different languages as well. So he can speak Groot in 15 languages. But I'll even lightly shade in the amber part here of the eye there for him. So really the only white part of the eye is just that little highlight there for him. But we can give him a smile here too. For his smile, it's just the letter U shape sitting towards the bottom here of the circle. But we can also give him some eyelids here too. By hopping right up above his eye, I'm just going to follow the curve here of the eye by drawing in a couple of rainbow curves. But we also want to give him some eyebrows too. To add in his eyebrows, sitting right up above his eyelids, towards the top of the circle, I'll lightly sketch out a couple more rainbow shapes here on either side. But he's got this like bark-like texture to his eyebrows. They're kind of like peeling off there for him. So to add in more of that bark-like texture here to the brows, I'm going to draw in these like boxes, or you can think of them as like number 7s here for him as well, or like upside down letter L's. So I'm carving in and out of the shape here for him. So I'm just using that rainbow curve to really help me out to add in this curved here, or to really create in his brows. Or you can also kind of think of it as you're just creating like a little cityscape up here at the top for his brows. And it doesn't have to look the same here on either side as well. So I'm just drawing in these little staples or adding in some more boxes over here along the sides here for him as well. I'll even add in some more texture here for the brows as well to give it more of that wood-like texture. So you're going to add in some curved lines here along the insides here for his brows. Now there's really no right or wrong spot in where you place them at. So So it doesn't have to look anything like mine here at all for him. But we can also do the same thing up here along the top portion here of his head. He's kind of got like cracks here in the wood here for him. So I'm going to draw in these random letter B's. So you can add in some like wide ones or like some short ones here for him. Mine kind of looks like a wonky letter W over here on the left. And I'll add in like a small one over here along the right hand side. I'll even add in some like longer ones over here along the right hand side too. Again, there's no right or wrong spot in where you can place these in here for him. But I'm going to go back and lock in his head shape here for him. And wherever you made those cracks there in the wood, you just want to skip those parts there for him. So I'm just going back and just locking in the rest here of his head. And wherever you made those cracks here in the wood, we can also give it more of a three-dimensional look here for him. On the left-hand side, I'll add in a diagonal line, so I'm just curving it back in towards my construction line. And anything that's over here along the right-hand side, I'll add in a diagonal line, just curving it right back here along the inside here for him too. You can even add in some more cracks here in the wood there for him as well, up towards the top. So you can draw in these like stretched out letter Y shapes, or kind of like these like lightning strikes that wood has there for him as well. And so there's no really right or wrong place in where you put that. I'll even add in some more texture here for Groot as well by adding in some wood grating, by very lightly going all throughout my sketch here for him and lightly adding in some more of that wood-like texture here for Groot as well. Because he is the Flora Colossus, which just really means that he is a big plant there for him. But right now he's a baby, but he's still a growing boy there for him too. You can draw in some little sprouts up here along the top to show that he is growing, or maybe he's playing in the park. Give him some mouse ears there for him, or even like a churro there for him too. But really the last step an artist needs to make though is the signature. And you can sign your name wherever you feel it fits best. And after all done, you have sketched out your very own baby Groot. Alright, so how did we all do? Pretty good, not too bad. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most important part about drawing. It's having fun this year anyway. Well, I want to see each and every one of your sketches before you go.